In all seriousness, WTF. WTF. I can't say it, but I want to say it. But WTF is going on here. What's going on? We live in a bizarro world now where Antifa and Black Lives Matter can do looting and protesting and throw Molotov cocktails at cops, and they're lauded as peaceful protesters. The mayor of Seattle said it's going to be a summer of love. In Oregon, they took over a whole town and called it an autonomous zone, took over a precinct. It's all okay. We can't prosecute them. But in New York City, you open up your business to try to make $100 and you get thrown in jail twice in 14 days, in 10 days. I'm sorry, 7 days. I'm even worse. So there is a lot of craziness going on. And you start wondering, like, what's really at hand here? And in Staten Island, New York, let me tell you, we got two caped crusaders. There's not a lot of sympathy out in the world for lawyers. They're probably one of the most hated species on earth because, you know, there's a small group of bad apples that make a bad name for all the other lawyers. But there's two guys that are literally doing God's work, Lou Gelomino and Mark Fonte, who stepped up. They're criminal defense attorneys. And you know what? They don't do civil litigation. They don't go in and fight against SLA violations. They rolled up their sleeves and said, we got to do something for this country. And I've known these guys for years, and they're learning on the fly. They're representing hundreds of businesses and business owners for free. And they're not trying to gain publicity or new clients, but the way Governor Cuomo and de Blasio are operating here, they are getting a lot of new clients because they're literally throwing bar and restaurant owners in jail. So they're making criminals out of them to turn the public opinion against them. All right. And at the same time, you want to talk about bizarro land. One of the most ballyhooed congressional races in the big red wave in the 2020 election was the Democrats were supposedly going to pick up 15 seats, 20 seats in the House, an overwhelming majority. They lost almost all of them. I think they lost 14 seats. But right here in New York City, in the 11th Congressional District, Nicole Malliotakis, a New York State Assemblywoman, minority of Greek, Cuban, or heritage, she took on sitting freshman Congressman Nancy Pelosi's lapdog, Max Rose, and she beat the tar out of Max Rose. Now, let me tell you a little something about Staten Island. You're probably hearing a lot about it on the news. Here's something you need to know. Staten Island is 60% Democratic registration, 40% Republican. So you would think a sitting congressman in a Democratic district like that would run away with the election. Nicole Malliotakis gave this guy a beating like I haven't seen in years. She beat him 60-40, which means just on the numericals on it, 1/3 of the Democrats in this congressional district voted for the Republican. That's how bad this dude was. And if you want to talk about bizarro land, okay, I'm sure Max Rose is looking at all his options for, you know, what to do after, you know, his term is over on January 1st. And I'm assuming that his announcement that he's going to run for mayor means that he went with his second choice because I don't know. I think right now Aqueduct, Belmont, and Monmouth racetracks are all closed. So I guess the positions for the little jockey guy standing in front of the racetrack are all full. There's no openings there. So the second option is let me run for mayor. And if you want to know something, I'll tell you. And I've had no qualms about being completely honest with Max Rose. I respect his veteran service to our country. He put his life on the line to fight for the freedoms and liberties that we enjoy here in this country. God bless him. Okay. But I'll tell you this. In New York, if you're out of work, why not run for mayor? Because we have this socialist system where they match you 8-1 when you run for a citywide office. So every $100 Max Rose raises for his campaign, the city gives him another 800. So it sounds like a pretty good job to me. Like, hey, let's run for mayor. We'll get 8-1 matching. I don't know what his real motivation is, but he couldn't even hold a seat as an incumbent. So I highly doubt he's going to become mayor. And we'll get into more about that and all the other things that are going on in bizarro land. But we'll take a quick break here. 1 minute turnaround. We'll come back after this with Adam Roosevelt. Adam is a national homeland security analyst and a GOP strategist. And we'll talk about all this craziness going on with China infiltrating our companies and China having Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in a stranglehold. Quick break. Stick with us. Back after this.